Hello, this is Jared Altman with Tax Relief 101, the most passionate show on the internet about taxes, taxpayer rights, and as you know, to some degree, tax debt. This show is a little hobby of mine that I do with some other tax professionals to get some great information out to people. We've just noticed, and I've noticed, there's a lot of bad information out there, both that people get from people in the community and sometimes from even sometimes for people who are trying to sell certain kinds of services. So I decided to put this together as kind of just a hobby to get out good information. There's no sales pitch at the end of this. This is just information that we're putting out there to the public because we're passionate about people getting treated right. We occasionally have other guests on here that talk about subspecialties. So that's that. If you've got any questions, make sure to leave them down below. And, I promise people at this point that I'll get to any question that gets down there within a week. Once they start piling up, it's probably going to take a little longer. But at this point, you'll get an answer in under a week. This week, we're going to be talking about one of the core values that I think is really important. And I kept it last because I think it's one of the most important ones, just kind of like the first one was one of the most important ones. And that's going to be caring, which a lot of people don't think about taxes and representation and accountants and caring. They don't necessarily go together. And so we'll talk about why I think that's important. Like I said, this is my hobby, so you can look around in my home office. So there's not a whole lot of editing that goes into these shows. They're kind of off the cuff, real talk. We do a little bit of post-editing, but it's not really what this is about. Like I said, it's a hobby. So there's that. But you'll get some good information, and you'll get it from people who are practicing in the field. I'm enrolled to practice for the IRS. I help people with these kind of issues, and I see the damage that bad information causes every day of my life. So that's the kind of underlying premise of this show, and today we're going to reflect on why caring is important to tax resolution, tax practice, accountancy, all sorts of professional services. I'm sure some of the tax lawyers I talk to would say it's important to their trade as an attorney as well. Or at least ones that I would invite on the show would agree with that. Why is caring important? Well, I think that it ties in with a lot of these, and if you listen to all of these, there's a lot of overlap between them and how they interact. I think that oftentimes we're dealing with one of the worst things that happens in someone's life, and it can be one of the most stressful things that happens in their life. And if you don't care about your clients and you don't care about their well-being, and you don't care what they're thinking and how the process that they're going through, it's really easy to have a disconnect, and that can lead to some bad outcomes for them and you. And also, just as a general rule, I think it's good to care about people. I think it's good as much as you can to kind of contribute to give goodwill towards other people and just care about other people. We're not everybody and is always good at it, and I'm not always good at it. I know I can be grumpy sometimes, but I think, like I said, these are touchstones. These are things I always want to go back to, that it's a good value to have. And outside of just the being a good person and wanting to, care about other people, when you care about your clients, they eventually can see it. And that leads to you guys have a better relationship with them. I'm still in touch with some ex-clients. We obviously there's confidentiality and other stuff that goes into it, but they're still friendly because they know I really care, and it wasn't just a transactional relationship. It wasn't just about that. Although during the case, there was that, and then there was the we're taking care of business side. Those two aren't mutually exclusive, but that other one has to be there. Now, in addition to that, like I said, I mentioned caring. When clients know that you care about them, they're often more forthcoming with information. They respond to phone calls faster. The interaction is better. They stop kind of being shut down and being scared. So when you ask questions, you get better answers. And that, again, leads to better outcomes in cases. If someone doesn't trust you, and doesn't like you, even if you're solving their problem, they're probably not going to be as engaged in the process. And so, just from a purely professional perspective, it makes sense too, other than, the basic human kind of element where, it's just something we all know we should do. And most of us try to strive towards it. And we don't always do it, but, we work on it. And then, other than that, I guess the only thing I'm worried about is it didn't come off as we're really trying to, like, we're accountants and we're now trying to be caring. I mean, I don't think that's the vibe of anybody I work with, but it's just one of those core values that I really wanted to name because it's something that, as people who are kind of invested in continually improving, it's something we want to get better at. And we want to show people that we care about them, because that's the other thing. You can care about people, and they can not know it because you don't express that in actions. You don't bring that caring kind of into the world. So I guess that's kind of more what this value is about having a touchstone to remember to do it in concrete ways that people understand it. You can care about your parents and never call them, and that it's really hard for them to tell that you care about them. And I remember there's a time in my life where I was worse at this. But, as I've gotten older, I tried to get better at it. And so it's just those kind of concrete acts that we want to remember to do is what this touchstone is about. That's all for that reflection for today. But the only other thing is that if you want to like and comment down below, you can go ahead and do that. And we'll answer any questions that you have down there. At this point, you'll get an answer in a video form within a week about your tax question. If they start to pile up, it might take a little bit longer, but they won't take that long to produce a response video. So for right now, if you want to get in before the line starts forming, you can get that question answered real quick. That's all. So this is Jared signing off with Tax Relief 101. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and tune in for the next episode.